Money laundering, the dark art of making dirty money appear clean, has been linked to some of the world's most heinous crimes. Yet, the criminal creativity behind some money laundering cases can border on the bizarre. This illicit practice involves a three-step process: placement, layering, and integration. In the placement stage, the dirty money enters the financial system. Layering is the complex process of obscuring the origins of that money through a series of transactions and bookkeeping tricks. In the integration phase, the now clean money is withdrawn from the legitimate account for use in the mainstream economy. Money launderers are constantly evolving, finding new and inventive ways to bypass the system. From creating a fake country in Antarctica to running operations out of a London candy store, these cases are a testament to the lengths criminals will go to wash their ill-gotten gains. So, are you ready to delve into the peculiar world of money laundering? Picture this: a country that doesn't exist, yet hundreds of people buy its citizenship, all in the name of money laundering. Sounds too far-fetched? Well, buckle up, because we are about to dive into one of the most bizarre money laundering cases ever recorded. In the chilly winter of February 2023, Italian authorities were hot on the trail of a peculiar case. 23 individuals were charged in connection with a money laundering scam that was, to put it mildly, out of this world. The scam involved selling citizenships for a fictitious state in Antarctica. Yes, you heard that right, Antarctica. And they even had a name for their imaginary state, the Antarctic Theocratic Sovereign State of St. George. It's quite a mouthful, isn't it? But the story gets even stranger. Over 700 people were lured into this elaborate hoax, believing they were now proud citizens of this non-existent state. They were promised low taxation and even noble titles. But the cherry on top of this icy deception was the level of detail the criminals invested in their scheme. They conjured up fake state institutions, created counterfeit documents, and even built a website for their Antarctic paradise. The illegal proceeds from this grand scam were allegedly set to be laundered in Malta. The audacity and creativity of this scheme are undoubtedly astounding. But it also serves as a stark reminder of the lengths money launderers will go to disguise their ill-gotten gains. So what can we learn from this Antarctic fiasco? The lesson here is that money launderers are incredibly meticulous when constructing their plans. They will go to great lengths to make their operations seem legitimate and often hide in plain sight. But no matter how intricate or creative their schemes may be, they often leave behind patterns that can be detected. It's up to the vigilant financial crime fighters to spot these patterns and bring these criminals to justice. Remember, money launderers are highly meticulous, and their schemes often hide patterns that can be spotted by vigilant financial crime fighters. It's a game of cat and mouse, where being alert and perceptive can make all the difference. From the icy wastes of Antarctica, we move to sunny Florida, where a university professor becomes a money launderer. Our next story takes us to the palm-lined streets of Miami, where a distinguished professor took a detour from the world of academia into the shadowy realm of money laundering. Meet Dr. Bruce Bagley, a retired professor from the University of Miami, who was an expert in, of all things, organized crime. Ironically, his expertise became his downfall. In November of 2021, a federal judge in Manhattan sentenced Dr. Bagley to 6 months in prison for his role in laundering millions of dollars. This wasn't a case of Bagley being a naive pawn in a larger scheme. No, he was an active participant, willingly and knowingly facilitating the laundering of ill-gotten gains. Now, you might be wondering, how did a respected academic get involved in such a sordid affair? Well, the answer lies in the origins of the dirty money. The funds Bagley was laundering were traced back to corruption-riddled Venezuela. Bagley was used as a conduit to clean the money, taking advantage of his reputation and his expert knowledge of the criminal underworld. In a twist that would make for a riveting episode of a crime drama, Bagley was caught red-handed, cleaning dirty money. This case serves as a stark reminder that money laundering is not an abstract concept confined to the realms of crime novels or gritty TV series. It happens in real life, committed by real people, sometimes the ones you'd least expect. And so we come to the lesson from this case. Money launderers often hide in plain sight. They may not be who you think they are. They can be your neighbors, your colleagues, even your professors. Their secret dealings are often hidden behind a veneer of respectability, making it all the more challenging for financial crime fighters to bring them to justice. So, next time you think of a money launderer, don't just picture a shady character in a dimly lit room. Remember Dr. Bruce Bagley, the university professor who laundered millions. Our next stop, the Emerald Isle, where a grandmother and her grandson form an unlikely money laundering duo. In the heart of Ireland, in the city of Limerick, a rather peculiar money laundering case unfolded in July 2023. This wasn't your usual high-profile international crime syndicate operation, but rather a family affair. The unlikely culprits? A grandmother and her grandson. The grandson, Mr. Crawford, was discovered to be involved in drug dealing, but the plot thickens. His grandmother, Ms. O'Callaghan, was found to be intricately involved in the operation, helping to launder the money. When law enforcement officials first questioned the duo, they were met with a series of creative explanations. Mr. Crawford claimed the money discovered during the police raid came from a variety of innocent sources. The sale of a car, a raffle he was running on Facebook for a gold chain, and even a loan that his grandmother had taken out from a credit union. But as the investigation unfolded, the truth came to light, unraveling their elaborate web of lies. The funds were not the result of car sales or social media raffles. They were, in fact, the proceeds of drug trafficking, carefully laundered through a seemingly innocent family operation. This case is a stark reminder that money laundering isn't always conducted by faceless corporations or organized crime syndicates. Sometimes it can be as simple as a family operation, nestled in the heart of a quiet city. It's a sobering thought and a crucial lesson for financial crime fighters. Money launderers can be hiding in the most unexpected of places. So as we wrap up this bizarre tale from the Emerald Isle, let's keep in mind our takeaway message. Not all money launderers are part of large criminal organizations. Some may be regular criminals, hiding in the most unexpected places. Finally, we land in London, where candy shops are not as sweet as they seem. Picture this: London's iconic Oxford Street, lined with garishly pink American-style candy shops, their shelves filled with overpriced imported brands from the USA. The shops are almost always empty, yet they keep popping up. Over recent years, eyebrows have been raised at this peculiar business model. Why would a shop selling overpriced candy, with few customers walking in, continue to open new branches? The answer, investigators discovered, was far from sweet. These candy shops were being used as fronts for money laundering operations. The stores were not designed to make profits from selling sweets. They were created to clean dirty money. Here's how it worked. The money launderers would inject their ill-gotten gains into the business, disguised as legitimate revenue. They would then make large purchases of candy from suppliers using the dirty money. The candy was then sold, turning the illicit funds into clean, legitimate income. The authorities became suspicious when they noticed the stark discrepancy between the number of customers and the reported income of these shops. This led to an in-depth investigation, revealing the bitter truth behind the candy shop facade. The candy shop case is a textbook example of trade-based money laundering, where goods are bought and sold to disguise the origins of illicit funds. This method is favored by money launderers because of the difficulty in tracing the money back to its original source. In the end, the candy shops were not as they seemed. They were, in fact, part of a sophisticated money laundering operation that used the innocent allure of candy to disguise their illicit activities. The lesson here is clear. Money laundering can take place in any industry, even the most unsuspecting ones. This case serves as a reminder to always look beneath the surface and question inconsistencies, no matter how sweet the exterior may be. In the world of money laundering, even the most innocent-looking businesses can have a sour side. From creating a fake country to using candy stores as a front, money launderers go to great lengths to clean their dirty money. As we've seen in these bizarre cases, the audacity, creativity, and meticulous planning that goes into such operations are truly astonishing. Our first case took us to the coldest corner of the world, Antarctica, where a group concocted an entire fictitious state to sell citizenships. The lesson here? Money launderers are painstakingly thorough in their schemes. As financial crime fighters, we need to be equally diligent, spotting patterns and inconsistencies within these elaborate plans. Next, we journeyed to the sunny state of Florida, where a distinguished professor used his expertise in organized crime to launder millions of dollars. This case reminds us that money launderers can hide in plain sight and may not be who we expect. It underscores the importance of not letting preconceived notions cloud our judgment. Then we crossed the Atlantic to the Emerald Isle, where a grandmother-grandson duo ran a small-scale money laundering operation. This case highlighted that money launderers aren't always part of extensive criminal networks. Sometimes they're ordinary individuals caught up in criminal activities. Finally, we arrived in London's bustling Oxford Street, where candy stores served as a front for money laundering operations. This case reiterates the importance of questioning the legitimacy of businesses, especially when their operations don't seem to add up. Each case presents its own unique set of challenges, but they all underscore one crucial point. The fight against money laundering is an ongoing battle that requires constant vigilance, adaptability, and an understanding of the diverse tactics employed by these criminals. In the fight against financial crime, awareness and understanding of these bizarre cases could be our best defense. After all, as the saying goes, knowledge is power. And with this power, we can continue to strive towards a world free from the taint of money laundering.